Hello guys, welcome to another video with me, Matt from the Boxing Locker, and today I'm going to talk about punching with power, how you can hit harder, the aspects of your technique that enable that to happen, the aspects of your targeting that enable that to happen, and also methods with which you can train to ensure that happens. Okay, so first and foremost, when we're boxing, normally our feet are fractionally wider than shoulder width. We're pretty light on our feet, we're moving around. Now, if you look at any great power puncher through history, every time they land, their feet are heavy on the ground and they are wide, a real nice wide base, okay? Real power punchers are knocking people out when they're not counter punches, when they're not walking into punches, when they're not in a vulnerable position, okay? Real power punchers put people to sleep no matter what position they're in, as long as they land clean, okay? So, as I said, we need wider base. We get them legs apart, knees soft, feet heavy. We're using the ground to generate power. We want the ground beneath us so that we can create as much force as possible with that for added leverage. Okay, so first and foremost, wide base. Okay, we don't want to be too bladed because we want maximum balance. That's why a lot of great power punchers will often get caught out by good boxers because their feet are a bit more squared, enabling them to hit harder with both hands. Now, the second factor is rotation. We need to be able to generate as much rotational force as possible, okay? This will tie in nicely into something we talk about at the end of this video. So I'm in my boxing stance, my wide feet. What I want to do is get as much rotation through the upper body as possible. Now I have an option to utilize my feet. So when I'm coming over with the right hand, I can drive round, get as much rotation as possible. If I throw a right hand burst, I don't need to move this foot, because I've got that rotation back, that retraction movement that's going to help me land hard. If I want to lead with that left hand, I may need to rotate that foot to get a little bit of additional power. But I can also load it with the right shoulder and then throw through with the rotation or without the rotation. I am personally not a fan of the pivot, but some people will have been trained that way, so it can be utilised. However, what I will say is there is no reason why you cannot punch with a lot of power, with a lot of rotation, without an enormous amount of foot movement, okay? Just let them legs relax and let them fall into the shots, and they should move quite well. The third factor is relaxation. Your arm has to be moving fast. You need to create as much velocity as possible from point A, which is the point of your guard, to point B, which is the opponent's chin or body or wherever the target is, okay? So I'm trying to get from here to here with as much speed through my arm as possible, without losing rotation. So I'm rotating as hard as I can, my arm snaps off the back of that. Everything is coming through your body. Maximum effort, okay? And this is another thing. We need to put effort in. To hit hard, you have to try to hit hard. Again, this is why a lot of power punchers, a lot of big knockout artists get out box quite comfortably, because they're trying to hit hard. So they're a little bit less active, they're a little bit less mobile, and they're looking for the perfect shot. Canelo's a really good example of this up at super middleweight. Because he relies on the big shots, he wears people down over the fight by landing those. He's often down after 6 rounds, and it looks like he's being defeated. But then those punches that hurt them throughout the fight, they start wearing, and he's stopping them in the 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. Not all the time, but you know what I'm saying. So, this is an important factor. You have to try to hit hard. That means you have to put effort into the correct aspects of your technique. So don't tense your arm, tense your core, rotate round as hard as you can, use your legs to drive round, use your hips to drive round, and get your body into that shot with maximum possible effort, letting the arm act as an extension of that rotation rather than the starting point of the punch itself, okay? So, those are the 4 main factors in punch power. With that power, however, you have to be accurate, because you can hit me on top of the head all day long, and it's very, very rare that you will have the natural power, the resistance through your wrists and connective tissues to actually do a lot of damage with that shot. There's a few freaks of nature like Goddard who can do that. They've developed the strength to do that. Artur Beterbiev is the same. But you need to think about being accurate. So we think about targets. We aim for the temples. We aim for the ears. We aim for the chin right here in the jaw. Just below the jawline, push in there, you feel all the nerve endings, it hurts like hell. You lift it up, it's even worse, okay? So we try and target there. The point of the chin going across or upwards, straight downwards but never straight, okay? We don't want straight shots. Our body is developed biomechanically to resist against impact from the front. We have a big strong forehead, our bone structure is made to take straight shots. Our nose might get a bit bloodied up, our eyes might swell, our eyes might water, but we need to take shots from there because we've got traps to resist the punches. However, what we can't deal with is rotational, coming across the target, snapping backwards, pushing down, because our body isn't designed to do that. So we need to aim for those impacts. So the body, we're aiming for the low ribs, right into the solar plexus, or the heart. The heart is a great target. Aim for that. It hurts, it wears them down, and over time it will be brutal over the fight to keep hitting them in the same spot. Okay, you got to remember these kind of things don't always happen immediately. If you work on it within 2-3 rounds, you'll start seeing the effect. Okay, so accuracy, picking your target is really important. The last thing is timing. The more vulnerable your opponent is, the better. So when they're walking into a shot, when they're committed to throwing a shot, when they're in a weak position on the ropes, squared up. It's really important that you understand where people are most vulnerable and you utilize your boxing brain to actively assess that within the framework of a fight. So you need to know when the best time to use your punches with as much power as possible is. Set them up with good jab work. We can go through that in another video. I'm sure I'll cover that in another video. Set them up with good jab work, good feints, good footwork, and all of a sudden you are a devastating weapon, doing as much damage as possible with every punch you've got in the book. So there we have it, guys. That is punch power. We're going to just go through a couple of little exercises that you can do to maximize that power. One of those is explosive push-ups. So any kind of explosive push-up, clap push-ups, push-ups with your hand coming off the ground. You need to generate as much force through that movement as possible. Another one is Russian twists. You want to build those obliques up, so strengthen your obliques and Russian twists. Add weight or a medicine ball to improve that. Things like pull-ups, lat raises, anything that develops your delts, your lats and your traps, that's going to help. Anything that builds on the triceps is going to help. We need muscles that are actively involved in the punch. What we don't want to do is build massive biceps. We don't want to build huge pec muscles. We want to work on things that are going to strengthen our punch and add dynamism and explosiveness to that shot. Quads are focused on in the modern day and age. Look at some of the old boxers. They didn't have enormous legs. They didn't have enormous quads. They had real fit, strong legs. What you need to be able to do is a lot of body weight work. So you should be able to do hundreds and hundreds of squats in a 3-minute round without being absolutely empty. That's a really good way to build up the leg strength so you can do it firing again and again and again. Single repetition exercise with enormous weight is great once a week maybe, but in reality all you're doing is building unnecessary muscle. You need to work on that power to weight ratio and moving your body with as much efficiency as possible. So there we have it, guys. That is my power punching tutorial. I hope it helped you and I look forward to seeing how it has done.